And then you go and try them all and see what happens. Unfortunately, here, nothing happened. So the damn thing didn't die or anything. Another place that I tried, IKEA has this cool entertainment thing. And I'm not talking about the big box full of balls. I'm talking about the scanners where you can scan your items yourself and see if you already overran your budget. And so I used that one and like scanned all the barcodes. It didn't work. Well done, IKEA. But like obviously the Russians have a different management, so maybe they have a different software. Let's see. Next type of attacks, recreation attacks. It's really silly to actually like give the attacks names here because it's so obvious. But if you can predict what's in a barcode, then you can create barcodes like this, and it's so simple. Let's start with some things. Postal codes. Postal codes are used instead of stamps. So instead of buying stamps, you put postal codes on your envelope, and then they get scanned, supposedly, somewhere. And then it's verified, supposedly, somewhere. And then your letter is forwarded. Now, what exactly is verified, we don't know, because we're not working at Deutsche Post or anywhere. Now, the Swiss postal code, I get some letters from Switzerland, from Sixt. They didn't notice that I'm not working for this company for like 2 years. But anyway, they had barcodes on them. And yeah, unfortunately, the slides are fucked up with the animation. But anyway, so those are the barcodes. Those are the numbers. They don't look too complicated. They seem to have structure. And once you find something like this, you can start playing around. Now, I didn't do that with the letters because I wanted to save a safe thing to play with for you. So I don't know what's happening. But it's really cheap to buy some letters and print some barcodes on them and see if they arrive or not. So that's a recommendation for like after Christmas. Now, if you take another letter I got from Switzerland, it had 2 fucked up one-dimensional barcodes, and then it had an Austrian Post barcode. And the Austrian Post barcode is a modification of the data matrix. You need a special decoder, and if you decode it, you get a bunch of zeros in ASCII. Now, I wonder how the verification in Austria works. And then we get into dangerous, also known as United States territory. The US Postal Service has a labeling system that's called intelligent mail. If that's not scary enough, I don't know. Now, it uses a code 128, of which we have heard already a bit. And the specs are on the internet, like the internal specs are on the internet. It tells you exactly on which digits you have to encode what. Now, you can encode the destination zip code, you can tell the label who's paying for this. It only works for crates and like big sacks. So not for single letters, it only works for a full crate of something, right? And you can say what's in there, like roughly, you have a few digits for that, and a label type, which can only be barcode, and that's about it. One thing we notice, no security feature. Second thing we notice, they should not publish this. And then you read in the same specification, to maintain the uniqueness, blah, 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 please see a marketing representative. So wait a minute. So they have a point where they need uniqueness for 30 to 45 days, but the unique number has to be checked with a marketing guy that tells you it's going to be unique the next 30 days. Very interesting. Now, on the other hand, we look at, Department of Homeland Security procedures for the Pentagon. They contain a list of things how to recognize letter bombs. It had everything you can imagine. Incorrect title, excessive postage, excessive white, visual destructions, protruding wires and tinfoil. But it doesn't say faked barcode on a shipped crate full of bombs with the sender address of the DoD. So they should add that. Now, another thing, I'm forced to use air transportation from time to time. And I've noticed the latest trend being boarding passes printed out over the internet. I thought, well, I'm not going to do that because Lufthansa usually doesn't get like people from A to B, so I don't think they get like my boarding pass from A to B. And so I didn't use that. Then I noticed, okay, now we have barcodes on the boarding passes that I get when I manually check in with the unfriendly lady. And then I noticed that in Frankfurt, all the security measures actually start to depend on the barcode. There's a central security guy who checks if the barcode goes beep. If it goes beep, you're going to the security, you know, the striptease and everything. And then if it doesn't, then it doesn't, and you're not in security zone. Now, this implies that either every airline's online check-in system is real-time connected to every airport that uses this security mechanism, or the security is in a barcode. Now, let's see. As I said, I fly a lot. Those are the ones that you get at the counter, right? No. Those are the ones that you get from the internet. And as you see, it does not depend on the airline. There's Air Berlin, there's Swiss, that's from the counter again. Now, I wrote myself a little tool, which is called BinID, which shows you byte values in different colors, shades of gray, and then you can document them with more color and like write what's on there. So I documented what's on this thing. So it contains everything you need: passenger number, last name, booking code, from, to, flight number, day of the year, class, important, change M to C and you fly business. We have the ticket number and we have the security number. And I'm like, whew, they got a security number. Then I start decoding multiple barcodes. And the last thing is the security number. And I'm like, oops, wait a minute. So they didn't even manage to like get my first name right, but the checksum doesn't change. And like whatever flight I take, whatever booking number I have, the checksum doesn't change. Now for the online booking ones, which are the red ones, it doesn't have a booking number and it doesn't have a security code. Which means, woohoo, we can make boarding tickets. But there's caution. There is a serious security problem with that, because luggage depends on your boarding card. Now, what happens with the luggage is you get a stripe with one-dimensional barcode on your luggage, and it is physically connected to your luggage and logically connected to your boarding pass. Now, when boarding online, you can get your boarding pass out of the printer, but I tried, it's really hard to get your trolley into the printer. So you have to go to the airport with your boarding pass and drop off your luggage. Assumed it was your boarding pass to begin with. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this scenario works, and I hope for our asses it doesn't. Okay, given now, given this Arabic citizen, obviously he's a suspected terrorist, not because he does anything wrong, but he's wearing blankets, which is illegal soon. And then there's his counterpart, a high-ranking government official. So this guy actually has his agents, and now what Ernst does is he produces a boarding pass because he knows how the guy in the blankets is called, first name and last name, and he knows the flight. Everything else he doesn't need. Then he goes to luggage drop-off and drops off some luggage, some more, including a little gift. And then the luggage goes to X-ray, to the typical, security that we have. And they found a new terrorist and can pass new laws. Great. Now the problem is, the guy's innocent, and we don't want the laws. So, fixed rank recommendation, just outlaw luggage. See, it worked brilliantly with water. You can't bring evil bottles of water into the plane anymore, but they're totally legal if you bought them for 3 or 4 euros after the security. Now, like Frankfurt Airport has all those affordable, like dress-up places, like Escada and, Mont Blanc and who else. So just outlaw luggage because, well, the businessmen can afford it. They can, go through the security and buy everything new after security. Should work well. Now we have some unsolved cases. Unsolved case 1 is Deutsche Post Frankit, and unsolved case 2 is Deutsche Bahn. I have to say, being German lately really sucks, but when I looked at those 2 barcodes, I was impressed that at least the German companies figured out that they should ask someone who knows and at least try to put some crypto in there. I don't know if the crypto is solid, but I couldn't decode them, obviously. So, I have to say, heads up, perfect. Now, what I'm really interested in, is this. You get this, like Department of Homeland Security says it all. The interesting thing is you get this barcode when you leave the United States. And it comes out of a machine that, again, wants your fingerprint and your eye scan and your firstborn and, everything. It comes out and nobody ever wants to see it. Nobody scans it, nobody looks at it, nobody asks you for it. They just pile up at home if you have to fly to the US from time to time. So I have no idea what's really in there. Here you see the tool in action again. This is why I wrote it, because if someone is really random, you see it on the bitmap. It is really black and really white. And on the topmost line is text, is ASCII, and it's gray, because ASCII only differs in very few bits from each other. The characters differ. So you can see by looking at large heap of data, you can see in the pixels if there's some ASCII in there or some other structure. So this is how they look. There are 2 barcodes. And here's my invitation. So I have this damn expensive decoding software. And I have this tool that I use. And if any one of you wants to play around with barcodes, you can just send me whatever you have, like scanned images or whatever. I'm going to decode them for you and send them back. If there are more than 5 people, I'm going to automate the process, but anyway. That works because we can link to the library, luckily. And if anyone wants to look at unknown heaps of unknown data and wants this tool to play around with, let me know, and you get it, and you're supposed to provide feedback. Otherwise, I'm going to beat you up next Congress. So this actually brings us to almost the final slide. Principles of secure barcode use. If you have to implement a barcode system, understand it's like a browser cookie. People eat cookies, people intercept cookies, people copy cookies, people modify cookies, people do everything they are not supposed to do with cookies. They can do the same thing with barcodes. If you can only use a one-dimensional barcode, make sure it's just a freaking number in your system that nobody else can make any use of. Don't generate it off the username and like the as with and whatnot. But generate a random number, put it into your system and match it up. If you use 2D barcodes, use real crypto. You got the space, it's not going to cost you more, maybe like a few millimeters around the barcode. They can be extended, they don't have a real size limitation, only on scanning. And on top of it all, make sure your damn process works. If your process works like the one in like my video rental store, go back, design it again. Make sure nobody can like fuck around with it, and never ever trust the printed number under the barcode. And that was it for barcodes.